very excited that you're joining us this evening for Between Blue Devils. What made you decide to go into consulting?
The only way I got to go to Duke was if I promised my dad I would get a job. So I studied computer science, and that sort of led to a job with a computer science consulting firm. Unfortunately, in my case, they turned out to be a consulting firm as well. So that allowed me to do different projects, different industries, and all those sorts of things. So I did the computer consulting bit for about 3 years, got an MBA from Chicago, largely to see what else was out there. Knew I liked consulting. That led me to sort of the traditional management consulting firms. Oliver Wyman at that time was essentially a startup. So that's what interested me. In most consulting firms, you start with the traditional analyst, then you become a job manager, and then you become a partner. Those are all obviously very different jobs. But even within that, you can take on very different roles. You don't have to wait till you're a partner to take on those roles. We've had many cases of people going to new geographies, or deciding that this industry is something I'm now less interested, but I'm really interested in this, or applying what we call horizontals, which are essentially content that's applicable across industries. I think there are lots of options.
What exactly do consultants do?
To run a company is a full-time job, any company. And occasionally things come at you, whether it's regulations, changes, and you go, oh, I don't have the capacity, I don't have the resource, I don't have the time to deal with this. I'll bring these smart people in that they know this and they've done it before. They'll come in, they'll implement it, and ideally, they'll go away. They're busy, they have day jobs, and they need some sort of SWAT team to swoop in, solve this problem for them that could be big and challenging, pass it on to them so they can take it over, and then they go away and do it somewhere else.
Well, that's really interesting. And I think there are a lot of students that would want to try and get into that space. But what about people that try it or, for a few years and then they don't really like it, or they're not very good at it and they realize that, what kind of other options would those types of people see having the early experience as a consultant?
Now, first and foremost, any Duke student is going to be fine because it's a fair amount of work. It's more than a 9-to-5 job. It's a fair amount of travel. You need to like to travel. You need to be able to get up at 6 a.m. on a Monday and go catch a flight to somewhere. And that gets tiring for some. In the sort of 2 to 3 year period, I think most people choose maybe to go back to school, get an MBA or go do something completely different. After probably more like 4 or 5 years, they work for our clients.
What are the key traits or experiences that you would look for in that student during the interview process?
What I look for is sort of drive and passion, both evidence of it and an ability to speak to it.
So if you could talk to your undergraduate Duke self right now, what piece of advice would you give yourself?
Not to worry so much. Do what's right for you, and there will eventually be, either via the interview process in the Career Center or off your own back, there will be an epiphany when you go, I really like this company, and I think they really like me, and then you're done.
In some of the other finance opportunities that we discuss with Duke students, that junior internship is key. You will not get a full-time offer without going and getting an interview at that firm as a junior, between junior and senior year. Is that same in consulting?
The short answer is no.
What should I do if I don't get that junior summer internship? What other, should I just backpack through Europe?
No. Well, you can. And I don't want to discourage anyone from doing that. If you're not landing something via the Career Center, then you got to use your network. As you well know, the Duke Alumni Network is a huge opportunity, but you need to be proactive out there working your network, your friends. I didn't get one, and I ended up working for a professor who had his own mini consulting firm, and I learned a lot, and there were only 3 or 4 of us. And I put that on my resume, and I think that went down reasonably well. So that you need to be proactive in the summer. You need something on your resume between junior and senior year that says, I'm smart, I'm entrepreneurial, I know something about business. You can travel, but hopefully the travel includes something along those lines.
How would you go about as a young current Duke undergrad to tap into that network? I mean, what can you tell us about the DAA that might be helpful?
It's a huge network. There will be lots of people out there willing to help. And I would put them in two categories: veteran camps, such as myself, who are just probably going to be more mentory or advisory, and sort of, I'm thinking about this and this, what are your thoughts? And I think the second is younger alums. And maybe there are some that have recently graduated that that can provide connections at, whether it's a specific firm or they know of some firms. The alumni community has gotten a lot better and a lot more supportive. There's Ask a Blue Devil, there's the DA website, but there's tons of ways to get access to these people.
What makes you most proud to be a Duke Blue Devil?
Duke basketball, being a part of the national board on the Duke Alumni Association, getting the London Association in London up and running, I'm also very proud of. And last, but certainly not least, is when my son chose to go to Duke and graduate. That's probably the one.
That's fantastic. So is there any last or pieces of advice or something that you want to tell us before we say thank you?
I just reiterate not to be complacent. If you really want a job in consulting, be proactive. Don't concentrate your search to only the big ones that come on campus. Use your networks, and don't give up. But it is an enjoyable career. Those of you who are interested, I would urge you to pursue it and be proactive about it. And best of luck.
So thanks. Enjoy the rest of your night, and see you soon.
Thanks, John. Thanks for having me. Take care.
Okay.
Forever Duke.